Okay, so we are in discuss. As I always say, that if world is mysterious, if world is mysterious, then Indian subcontinent is also equally mysterious. Indian subcontinent is mysterious in a way that if someone start Indian subcontinent from the Nile Delta in the Egypt, Alexandria. I believe Alexandria is the city out there, or Al Kahira is a city out there. From there, if someone moves eastward and he comes till Philippines, then more or less the diversity what he will see, that will be amazing. But still, it is Indian subcontinent, because internally people's culture is same. And then from north Mongolia, and then Tibet, Xinjiang province, then India till Maldives. If someone come till here, again it is Indian subcontinent. Means you will find more or less people dark at least 10 in 100. If you come to India, then people, the darkness of the people, shade of the darkness of the people will be more. Especially in southern part of India, it will be maximum. And in northern part of India, maximum you will see that is above the Cancer line. There is a Cancer line, and above it, generally in Bihar, you will see people are dark in color. Otherwise, above the Cancer line, people are not that dark in India also. Only in Bihar. Otherwise, Uttar Pradesh and Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and northern, very more or less Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Bihar, some part of West Bengal, top part of West Bengal, and northeast eastern state. This comes above the Cancer line, and people are fair only. Eastern side people are called yellow, means they look resemble the Chinese people or Mongolian, and Western side people resemble like white people, means they are fair, whitish or white. Whereas in Bihar, though it is above, people are dark out there. But anyway, there is a tremendous diversity in Indian subcontinent. It is also called Bharatvarsh. Bharatvarsh means very big region, and in English it is called Indian subcontinent. Nowadays also everyone is, or otherwise it used to be called South Asia, South Asian country, whereas east to India was called Southeastern Asian country. Those starts from the Burma, Southeastern Asian country, whereas Pakistan onwards Southwestern Asian country. India is a South Asian country. Anyway, now people have changed it and people are addressing it as Indian subcontinent. In Indian subcontinent, right now, Pakistan has, now when name is Indian subcontinent, then focus is on India. What is the political scenario, administration and political diplomatic scenario of India? Then we see that India has consistent prime minister from 1947 time frame, where Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, he was the first premier and then prime minister of India. More or less, he was first prime minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, till whoever is the prime minister of India. Only series of prime minister India has seen. Means more or less the head of the state practically is prime minister of India. Actually, I was thinking, if it is Indian subcontinent, then when people culture, genetic structure are similar, then everyone should have prime minister in their country. But it is not true. From the Egypt onward until I came to Afghanistan, I saw more or less it is either presidents are there in their country, head of the state, or king are there in the head of name of the head of the state, that is monarchy, or the kind of it is led by the some organization like Taliban in here, and then in Syria some or another organization is executing the country, or North Yemen, Houthis are controlling the country, and then Iran, then Al Khamenei is controlling the country. So either it is president who is controlling the country, more or less. Like Iraq has prime minister, I believe he controls the country. Otherwise, either it is president or it is king, or it is the kind of local group, they are controlling the country. It is not similar to India. Anyway, now then we saw Xinjiang province, more or less, it is controlled by Beijing Communist Party. Earlier, it used to have president only. That was East Baluchistan province, East Turkestan. They made a country after 1912, fall of Qing dynasty in China. East Turkestan and Tibet had Dalai Lama. Otherwise, Tibet had prime minister. Anyway, the main functioning body of the Tibet was Dalai Lama prior to China conquest of the Tibet. So what remaining now is Mongolia, Pakistan, India, and Eastward. Okay, so I have the list that we will see. Okay, Afghanistan right now it is ruled by Talibani government out there. Prior to that, it was president Ashraf Ghani, and these were president in Afghanistan. There was no prime minister though. Anyway, Pakistan, when Pakistan became independent in 1947 along with India, then Governor General of Pakistan, though President Prime Minister post was there, analogous to India, but Governor General were ruling the country. And uh, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he was the first governor out there. And they were ruling. But Pakistan actually became independent in 1956 because more or less it was led by the king and queen of England. One, if people see the practicality of the Pakistan, then Pakistan did not come to self-governing government in 1947 time frame. It came to self-governing government when its constitution came into the picture, and that came in 1956. And after 1956, more or less, Pakistan was in clutch of army generals. Okay, in 1972 time frame or 73 time frame, then Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, full-fledged, he became the powerful prime minister of the country. The prime minister came in the Pakistan, then he was executed, and then army general became the head of the state in Pakistan again, Zia. And then Benazir Bhutto and Nawaz Sharif they shared as Prime Minister of Pakistan. Then it came in clutch of army ruler again Pervez Musharraf. Then after that, then more or less it is in hand of Prime Minister. So I can say Pakistan is a mixture of army rule and Prime Minister. This is the better word. Okay, more or less, more time I believe it was in clutch of army ruler only. This is Pakistan. If I talk about Mongolia, then it is a democratic country. There is no king wing there. So Mongolia, the head of the state is president out there. Prime Minister of Pakistan is Shahbaz Sharif, Mr. Shahbaz Sharif. Mongolian president is Naglin Khur, Khur, Khurekush. Khurekush. Huh? Khurel Sukh. Sukh is very famous in Mongolia. Okay, there is Sukhbatar also town out there. Sukhbatar. Khurel Sukh. Sukh is a Sanskrit word happiness. Okay, so Ukhnaiglin Khurel Sukh is president of Mongolia and president is head of the state in Mongolia. Anyway, if we talk about India, then Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he is the Prime Minister of India and he actually holds the power. Whereas President post is also there. Everywhere President Prime Minister post is there. Main is who owns the country, who rules the country. Anyway, if I talk about Nepal, then it is a democratic country now. Earlier, post 1947, Nepal was being ruled by king only. From 2000 onwards, I believe, prime minister used to be there, but king was the main powerful. Now prime minister is the main powerful. So Nepal prime minister is Khadga Prasad Sharma. Oli, Sharma Oli. He is the powerful person in Nepal. Prime Minister is head of the state in the Nepal. Maldives, President is head of the Maldives and Muhammad Muizu is head of the Maldives. It is a democratic country. Sri Lanka, President is the head of the country. And Aruna Kumara Disnainka, I believe that is the name. Pardon me if I am speaking wrongly because it is a big sin that if you cite someone's name wrongly. Okay, so Aruna Kumara Disnaika, he is the president of Sri Lanka. Okay, Bangladesh right now it is taken care by interim government and it is headed by Mr. Muhammad Yunus. Prize award. Otherwise, condition of Bangladesh more or less same as Pakistan. 1973 it became independent, and after that more or less Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was the prime minister, but he was assassinated. More or less it came under control of army ruler only. Anyway, right, but it is mix of army ruler and prime minister, same as Pakistan, Bangladesh. But post is prime minister, not the president. Anyway, Burma army rule. From 2016 to 2021, Yang San Suki, she is a lady, and she became a state councillor of Myanmar. This is the post she holded. State councillor of Myanmar, neither prime minister nor president. State councillor of Myanmar. Otherwise, Myanmar is in hand of army only. But when Myanmar became alienated from the India in 1938, then Myanmar had premier prime minister. Okay, so Myanmar historically, when it get away from this is very important to note here. Myanmar, when it became away from India in 1938 time frame, then it had, though it was part of British rule only, British Raj only, but it became administratively, it get away from Delhi. It was not under New Delhi, away from Delhi. At that time, there was a premier in Burma, and his name was uh, Nu, you knew. And 1947, when Britishers were kicked out from the Burma and Burma became independent, and election happened, then you became prime minister again. The person who had to become prime minister, he was assassinated, and you became prime minister of the Burma. So at the beginning, Burma has a tendency of prime minister, typical prime minister. Later, Yang San Suu Kyi uh, became a state councillor of the Myanmar. But Burma typically it has a prime minister. Anyway, we can say Burma is again mixture of prime minister and army ruler. Same thing. Now, if we see Sri Lanka, then Sri Lanka 1946 election was conducted in Sri Lanka. Okay, near to the independence of the India, and at that time there is one Mr. In Sri Lanka, D.S. Sena Naike, Don Stephen Don Stephen Sena Naike. He became Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. Right now, Sri Lanka has President as head of the state. But in 1947 era, Sri Lanka also has Prime Minister as head of the state. So during 1947, India has Prime Minister as the head of the state. Nepal had king. Otherwise, the Burma had Prime Minister of the state. Bangladesh, Pakistan, more or less in 1946, theoretically Prime Minister should have been the head of the state, though it had an army rule. And then Sri Lanka had Prime Minister. More or less, India, whoever were associated with the India, British Raj, the British government who were ruling the Indian part, all had Prime Minister. Either it is Pakistan, Bangladesh, Burma, Sri Lanka, or Nepal has a king rule. Anyway, Nepal was not under Britishers also directly. Bhutan was. Anyway, if we talk about Bhutan, then Bhutan has king. Bhutan does not have prime minister or president. And king name is Jigme Khasar. Jigme Khasar, he is the king of Bhutan now. Anyway, Vietnam, the head of is general secretary of the Communist Party. So it is ruled by Communist Party like China, and there is a general secretary of the Communist Party. He is actually hold the power of Vietnam, and he is Nguyen Phu Trong. His name is Mr. Nguyen Phu Trong. Cambodia, it is led by Cambodia People's Party. So Cambodia, I believe it has democracy. And Cambodia right now, it is led by President Hun Sen. Hun Sen is the president of Cambodia, and he belongs to Cambodian People's Party. If I talk about Thailand, then Thailand, again king is there, Ram 10. Ram 10. Ram 1, 2, 3, 4. Ram 10, he is the king of Thailand. Actual name is Vijira Longkorn, Mahavijra Longkorn, or something like that. He is the king of Thailand. But actual power of the Thailand lies with the Prime Minister of Thailand, and he is Pyong Tam Shinawatra, Pyongtang, Pyongtam Shinawatra. He is Prime Minister of Thailand. Otherwise, King is also there, and King is also very powerful. But more or less, it goes to PM there. Okay, we have other countries also. We have now Malaysia. So if we talk Malaysia, okay, there is one country we left there, and that is Laos. So Laos is ruled by again Communist Party there. General Secretary of the Laos People's Revolutionary Party is the head of the state. There is no president, prime minister, and his name is Mr. Thong Loon Sisolith. He called himself as president there, but it is ruled by Communist Party like China. That is the Laos. So Laos, Vietnam, I believe these are communist, where Thailand king is there. Anyway, this is the situation. Philippines, there is a democracy in Philippines, and president is the head, Mr. Bongbong Macros. It is a Christian country though, Mr. Bongbong Macros. Okay, what about Malaysia? Malaysia is ruled by king out there. He is the most powerful there, and king is called Yang Di Petran Sogong. This is the title of a king out there. This is called king is called like this in Malaysia, and otherwise there is a prime minister in Malaysia, and he is Anwar Ibrahim, very famous name, Anwar Ibrahim. More or less, power of the Malaysia lies with the prime minister and king. This is what I can say. Both Indonesia, there is no king there. There is democracy in Indonesia, and president is the head of the state, and his name is Mr. Prabowo Subianto. All president in the Indonesia, they have Sanskrit name. Sometime back there was Medha Sukarno Putri, Medha Sukarno Putri. Now it is Prabhav, means Prabhav Subianto. These are Sanskrit names. Always, all president of Indonesia, they have Sanskrit name. Surprisingly, anyway, Brunei. Brunei is one of the country in the Borneo Island or Kalimantan. So there three countries are there: Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. Brunei is ruled by Sultan out there. There is no democracy, and his name is Mr. Hassan Bolkiah Muzaddin Wederlah or something like that. The capital of Brunei was Brunei city, that is renamed to Bandar Sri Bhagwan. Bandar Sri Bhagwan means Lord Hanuman. Bandar Sri Bhagwan is the capital of Brunei, that is Lord Hanuman in Indian culture. Bandar Sri Bhagwan, the monkey who is the god. Anyway, that is the Brunei. Singapore, democracy is there, and Prime Minister of Singapore, Mr. Lawrence Wong. He is the Prime Minister of Singapore. Anyway, New Papua Guinea, it has democracy, and Prime Minister is James Marape, Mr. James Marape. East Timor, there is democracy, and Prime Minister is Mr. K. Rala Zanana Gusweria, Gusmio or something like that. His Prime Minister is Timor. Okay, I believe I finished everything. Sri Lanka, Burma, Laos, Philippines, East Timor, Papua New Guinea, Singapore, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, to every country. And then Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Burma, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Tibet, Kashi Kasgar, Mongolia, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and yesterday I covered, I believe, Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Turkey, Yemen, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Palestine, Oman, Lebanon, Kuwait, Jordan, Iraq, okay, Bahrain, and Egypt. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Around 37. In that, Xinjiang and Tibet is not the country. 35. More or less 35 countries are there in Indian subcontinent. 35 countries. In 35 countries, only prime minister concept is more or less in India, and the directly that they were controlled by Britishers like Burma, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka had prime minister earlier, now it turned to president. Burma had prime minister earlier, it turned to councillor post or something like that, that Yang San Suu Kyi was. Otherwise, it is army rule. Same thing, Bangladesh, either it is prime minister or army rule, Pakistan, prime minister or army rule. So, concept of prime minister is consistent in this region. Otherwise, eastern part we saw some prime minister, that is Malaysia prime minister, and then Singapore. Singapore is a town only. And then prime minister of East Timor, it is also very small. Prominently, if I see the eastern part of India, that is Burma onwards, then more or less it is monarchy only. Either it is ruled by army, or it is ruled by some communist, or it is ruled by some king or sultan. That is the eastern part of India. If I see western part of India, that is Afghanistan onward, then either it is ruled by president, that is very less. More or less it is ruled by kings or sultan, or the local militia like Ali Khomeini or Taliban, or Syria, then by Syrian, some party, some local revolutionary party, then Houthi fighters, they are ruling the kind of North Yemen, or Hamas, that is the Palestine. So, or King Sultan are there. Okay, more or less there is no army rule we saw in the western part of India. Eastern part of India, army rule is there. Communism rule is there, sultan are there. Means if I see the inference of discussion, then prime minister post is only where effect of Britishers were there. Means like and now prime minister is in Nepal. So Nepal, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Burma. These has only shadow of prime minister. That's it. Otherwise, more or less, there is no prime minister president at all. Either it is army rule, or it is sultan rule, or it is some kind of army rule, sultan rule, or it is our king, we can say, or it is more or less like local group they are ruling, like Taliban in Afghanistan, or Iran, or Syria, these places. So we can say like that Indian subcontinent, if I consider monopoly in the administration, then except Indian region, that is SAARC nation, Nepal, Nepal and Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and these come under SAARC nation. SAARC nation which were directly under control of Britishers, except Afghanistan. So SAARC nation, they are in shadow of Britishers. Otherwise, all over Indian subcontinent, mostly it is ruled by non-democratic people. You understand what is non-democratic people? Now we can say either India is like the way it is, either this is India, or rest of the Indian subcontinent is India. This is under question now. If the non-democratic, we see Laos non-democratic, Vietnam non-democratic, then we see Malaysia non-democratic, then we see Thailand non-democratic, means king is there. We see Burma non-democratic. Okay, then we go there, Brunei non-democratic. Okay, this side if we go Afghanistan non-democratic. Then if we go to Iran non-democratic. Iraq was also under Saddam Hussein non-democratic. Then Yemen non-democratic. Oman king is there non-democratic. Saudi Arabia king is there non-democratic. And then I believe Jordan king is there non-democratic. Syria non-democratic. Means full India is in two parts now. One is India, and alongside it, in closer section, that is democratic and prime minister is there. Otherwise, non-democratic. Now it is up to the viewer. They decide which one is the ancient or real India. Rest of the India or democratic India.